Hello, fearless listeners and viewers. Welcome to the Diaries of Badass Bosses podcast. I'm Joyner-Platt.
And I am Tigz.
And we are back for season 2. Welcome. We're going to dive deep into the lives of extraordinary individuals who redefine what it means to be a boss.
That's right. This season we have lined up a stellar cast of guests who have shattered glass ceilings, forged their own paths, and inspired change in their respective fields.
I mean, we're not talking about traditional CEOs here. Our guests include entrepreneurs from a wide range of industries, making waves, challenging the status quo, and sharing their stories behind their journeys.
So whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, a budding leader, or simply someone who loves hearing about tales of triumph over adversity, then you're in the right place. This is where stories of badass bosses come to life.
And as always, we are joined by our incredible producer, Connor Wells, who always makes sure every episode is an auditory masterpiece.
Thank you, Penny and Tigz. I am thrilled to be back for another incredible series of inspiring stories and unforgettable moments. Get ready for an absolutely incredible ride.
So stay tuned as we embark on this journey to explore the lives, dreams, and fearless endeavors of some of the most badass bosses out there.
Buckle up, because season 2 of Diaries of Badass Bosses is about to begin. Hello and welcome to Diaries of Badass Bosses podcast. I'm Joyner-Platt.
And I am Tigz. And today, it's going to be an excited one.
I'm actually so excited for our guest today. I actually had an element of a blast from the past as well.
Oh, really?
Moment. Oh my God, yes.
Tell me.
Well, let's just say that he's been on our screens quite a bit.
Ooh.
Like even like from the younger years as well, like when I was younger. So I've got, he's a bit of a heartthrob, I reckon. Yeah, but I'm actually going to go back a little bit and talk about our somewhat past lives.
Yes.
Because I want to talk about maybe things that we've done previously before we even ventured into this crazy world of owning our own business, and how it's kind of impacted like where you are today. Because I think that's, it's who we are, it's our personalities, it's everything. It's how we even act in business, it's how we are with clients. But for me, I'm lucky enough that I actually worked in the media. So I actually worked in radio. I worked for GCAP, the big Power FM and Ocean FM down in Pompey. And I loved it. That was my first moments in the media, working in PR and marketing. Yep. And I have to say, I loved it. It was so much fun. I mean, the events, just the way in which a radio station works, making sure that the listeners are getting, exciting information every day, guests, it was just the buzz of it. It was fabulous. And I think that's why now I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah, because you always said, didn't you, you've always wanted to be radio. And so when the opportunity...
Got the face for it.
How dare you? I will not let you say that in front of me. We will come back to that later. But you read radio and podcasting has always been something that has been hot for you. So when the opportunity came up for you to say,
absolutely why I stalked Connor and was like, we have to do a podcast, Connor.
Absolutely. Got to be done. But podcasts, they're just so big at the moment and they're easy to do. It's just turn up and talk.
Yeah, and I can do that well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame. We were chatting earlier, off air. There's so many podcasts that get started but then end up being dormant because people don't sort of follow through with them. They put a trailer out and then that's it. There's so many good names. There's a podcast that I used to listen to. They don't do it anymore, but it's called Waffling. And I thought, that's such a good name, isn't it?
But now no one else can use it. They've taken that name and not done anything with it. Crazy.
Can you imagine what we could have done with Waffling? You and I could have filled an entire podcast just on random
We wouldn't have had guests.
Waffling by Penny and Tigz, or Waffling with Penny and Tigz.
It would have just been us and maybe no listeners. So actually, I think maybe it's a good thing.
Idea. Yeah.
So how about you, Tigz? Talk to me about your start in life. What do you think careers-wise when you started out? Because you haven't always been a photographer.
I have not always been a photographer. I mean, I started off in graphic design and illustration and worked through that area of the creative industry. But I would say actually the thing that's given me the most benefit in the job that I do now as an empowerment photographer is I was a burlesque dancer for about 2 to 3 years. And so having that experience in being photographed on a regular basis from all different kinds of angles in movement, flowing through life, really gave me a feel for what I found it was like to be in front of a camera, how I wanted to be seen, and different angles that perhaps I liked about my body, and then was able to take that experience and go, okay, well, I know how it feels to be in front of a camera. I can now apply that and change the experience of having a photo shoot for my clients. And I think that's one of the things that people often comment about in terms of having a branding shoot or a boudoir burlesque shoot with me, is that you understand how it feels to be the person on the other side of the camera. So yeah, having that stage experience, and I mean, both of us have an Amdram background as well, don't we?
We do, yes. We have treaded the boards, so to speak.
Yes.
But I think that actually really does work quite nicely. That's a nice transition into introducing our fabulous guest. And that wasn't on purpose.
I must say, ladies, Series 2, your segues have been on point.
I know. I think we might be getting better at this.
You're getting good at this podcasting stuff. I'm loving it.
Maybe we
the
should
segues
stick to
are
it.
on point. Yeah, you should do another series.
Yeah. And now that we've ruined that segue,
now we've just smashed it. We're going to actually get back to it and actually introduce the fabulous Luke Dejahang.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hello, ladies. Hello to all of your listeners. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you
Great
for
to be
being
here.
here. So we're
Pleasure.
going to do a little bit of a bio for you here so we can introduce you and let all of our listeners and viewers see if they can recognise the background and go a little bit into where you are today as well. So, from martial arts instructor to award-winning actor and businessman, Luke Dejahang had a tumultuous childhood, moving frequently between Battersea and Catford in south-east London. Despite his shyness, his parents enrolled him in martial arts classes, which he continued for 27 years, achieving a double black belt and becoming an instructor. Okay, so I can't upset you today. I think that's what we're getting.
Honestly, I'm the softest teddy bear you'll ever find. I'll leave that for the gym.
Okay, love that. Okay. This is just the start. I mean, we've got a lot more to go here. So to help build your confidence, you were also enrolled in acting classes as a child. So you joined an acting agency in your teens and landed roles in several classic British TV shows, including Grange Hill, The Bill, and London's Burning. However, you took a break and from acting to focus on your family and your business, Crown Pavillions, which became a remarkable success. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, Luke missed his passion for acting and decided to make a comeback in 2021. He was immediately cast in Tehran, an Apple TV show, and has forthcoming film with Ant Middleton playing an ex-SAS serviceman. Luke has also produced and starred in 3 short films, winning multiple awards, including Best Actor at the Cannes 7th Art Awards. Amazing. Congratulations. In Fatherhood, your feature debut film, Luke will serve as a mentor to young people in acting and business development, reflecting his dedication to making a positive impact through your work. As the director of Crown Pavillions Limited, you've led a team of designers and manufacturers of garden buildings, garden rooms, home offices, and handmade wooden gazebos. For over 15 years, Luke has created a brand that offers products and services that are unrivaled in the marketplace, serving an international client base from the UK and France. Last bit, I promise. This is the long bio we've got here going. Luke loves leading his team at Crown Pavillions with his dear business partner and co-founder to ensure that Crown Pavillions remains at the pinnacle of the luxury garden room and wooden gazebo market. Welcome!
Thank you. Hopefully your listeners are still here.
What a career.
I know, if you will have such an impressive career history.
Well, honestly, thank you for reading that and again for having me. It's good to be here.
Well, we're going to dive right in. Yeah, we want to hear this journey. So give us a little bit about, in your own words, kind of from the martial arts instructor to a thriving entrepreneur and an actor with a remarkable background. Can you share some of the insights from your early life, kind of between the kind of Battersea and Catford, South East London, and how it's kind of shaped you today in your career?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, as a child growing up in all over the place, I think by the age of probably by the age of 12, we'd moved probably 7-8 times.
Wow.
So there was a lot of moving around as a child, from Battersea to West Norwood to Peckham to Catford and all these areas. And yeah, I mean, I was a pretty shy kid. And as a shy kid in those areas, it's not the best place to be shy, and you know, it's you've got to be a little bit streetwise, and you have to be a little bit tough. So my parents put me into martial arts classes from a very young age, and that's where it started, to build up the confidence. Martial arts is such a great way to build up your confidence. I did boxing as well. It really does so much for the young kids to build up their confidence, their self-esteem, and also it gives you real focus and keeps you out of trouble, which is great. So that was in my early years, and then as I built up my confidence, I actually started, I think the first time I was in a school play, and after the school play, I just thought to myself, I really enjoy this. I like being in front of people. I feel like I'm going into this imaginary world, there was something quite enticing about that. So enrolled in children's acting classes I think at the time it was in Forest Hill, which is close to in South East London to where I lived. And then I started going to a class in North London with a wonderful, wonderful teacher called Anna Sher, Anna Sher was one of those teachers that took in kids from working class backgrounds and really instilled discipline into them and gave them a platform to shine and empowered them to feel as though you can do this, you can make something of yourself. And a lot of great actors came from the Anna Sher Theatre. So that was my start into the acting world. And then soon after that, I got a child agent, and then I got into TV shows, Grange Hill and The Bill and various other TV shows. And then in my early 20s, I got into a big TV show at the time called London's Burning.
Oh, I loved London's Burning. I honestly remember you in it. I do. Yeah, I used to watch it every week. Like, it was, yeah.
So I played a character called Hi Ho, and I played like the Karate Kid in it and did some martial arts. And so that was a great time. And then after that, I did some other stuff. I did something with Matthew Kelly, and then I did some other TV shows and films. And then at that point, acting is a very precarious business. It's up and down. After that point, I thought to myself, okay, I met my wife, kids came along, I was 23, 24. By the age of 25, I had 2 kids. And I thought, I've got to do, I can't have this precarious up and down. So what can I do that's going to put food on the table, bring in money, weekly, week in, week out? What do people want? Well, people are always going to need roofs over their heads. Mm-hmm. They're going to need windows and doors, and I became a carpenter. Yeah. So I was doing the acting. I did a TV show that was filming, I think, in Egypt at the time, and then the day after I got back, I was doing night school in a place called Red Hill, in carpentry, night school carpentry courses. So, cut a long story short, so your views don't fall asleep. Soon after that, I became a qualified carpenter, started Crown Pavillions, started manufacturing these beautiful outdoor garden buildings for people, really passionate about that. I'm also one of the designers, and it was in the last 2.5 years that I just wanted to come back to the acting. But this time round, for me, I wanted to do it differently. And this time round, I wanted to take my experiences as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, and bring that to the craft of acting and the business of acting, the business of show business, which the first time round, I always forgot the business bit. I just thought about the show. Yeah, it's a business. So I've come back and I'm creating my own work, and I'm providing opportunities for people to get involved in these projects. And my latest thing is working with the Rio Ferdinand Foundation, a good friend of mine, Wayne Bridge, and Middleton is also going to be a part of this new film that I'm doing. It's called Fatherhood. It's the story of a father who commits some crimes and goes into prison, and he comes out, and then he has to redeem himself. And when he's in prison, he changes as a human being and understands all the mistakes that he's made. And he comes out, and then he wants to reconnect with his son, who he hasn't seen for 15 years. Who so happens, bring in the football connection, who wants to be a footballer.
Nice.
So it's a story which I hope is going to really inspire people. And it also gives me the opportunity to do something that I'm really passionate about, and that's to give something back. I spent so many years away from South East London, and it's not just South East London, it's anywhere where the kids are looking for and need an opportunity. They need opportunity. They need a break. There's so much talent in these areas. So by doing this film and getting involved with the Rio Ferdinand Foundation, it means that we can give an opportunity to some of these kids to get behind the camera and hopefully in front of the camera. Yeah. And hopefully we'll find some stars, because there are so many talented kids out there. I just want to give them an opportunity, to shine.
It's such an amazing opportunity. Like, I wish that more stuff like that had been around. When
it really wasn't. When we were younger, it just honestly, there was you'd have to travel pretty far if you wanted to get half decent acting classes or anything.
It was Catford to Angel in Islington.
Yeah.
So that's where Anna Share is in North London. So I'd be doing the Catford to Lewisham to London Bridge to Waterloo to get the tube to Angel, and then a hike to the classes, and that was twice a week. So you're absolutely right. If we can provide some of these opportunities locally and allow these kids to shine, that would be me. I've done something I could say I'm happy and proud of.
And I don't know whether you're at this stage yet, but if anyone is listening to this and is like, I know the perfect person that might want to get involved, where would be the best place for them to look to maybe, or reach out to you? And
Great question. So my business, www.crownpavilions.com. Why do I need to say www?
I know, we just fall in the habit of it.
I did that once, and my kids said, why are you saying www? It says www. So, crownpavilions.com. But yeah, you just email me, luke@crownpavilions.com. You've got my email. Send me your details. If I can provide opportunities and help, I'm more than happy to.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, that's amazing. And during your venture into film production, you've won a couple of awards. So you've got Best Actor at the Cannes 7th Art Awards, for example. What inspired you to explore film production?
Yes, great question. So coming back to the industry, as I mentioned a couple of years ago, I just had this urge to come back and do what I love doing and a passion for acting. But this time round, creating and working on my own stories, and not just my own stories, but working with people that I admire. So the first film that I did was called Bardo when I came back. And the way that I did that is I just scrolled through the internet and just looked up all short film BAFTA winning directors. So I thought, if you're going to do it, aim for the top.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So what better way than the wonderful BAFTA and the BAFTA winning directors. And I came across a fantastic director and writer. So the director, Michael Baker Clifford, and the writer, wonderful writer, Jeff Thompson. They did 2 films. One got awarded, got the BAFTA award, called Brown Paper Bag, wonderful short film. And the other short film with Ray Winston was called Bouncer, and I got nominated for a BAFTA. And I just thought, this is the content and the social impact, and one's about alcoholism, the other one's about a doorman who is, that life and the life of violence and everything else. And I just thought both of these stories really resonate. So I reached out to them, and I just found out, I don't even know how I found their emails, but somehow I stalked them and found them. And I sent them an email and I said, look, my name is, I've done a few bits and bobs, here's my show reel, here's my work, I'd love to work with you. If you're interested, give us a shout. And they did. And then we got talking, and they said, look, and then Jeff wrote a part for me, which was Bardo. But again, Jeff's work is a lot of it is most of it is autobiographical. So he used that to inspire the story Bardo, and then that went on to win a number of awards. And then I did another film called Confines, which with another wonderful director, Richard Basley, and that went on to win a few awards, which was very humbling, and it gives you more confidence when people appreciate your work. And then the last film I did, Brushing Out the Curls, that's up for, but in fact Confines and Brushing Out the Curls are both up for awards at the Birmingham Film Festival.
Nice.
So last year we won Best Film at Birmingham Film Festival with Bardo, and this year 2 of the films are up for Best Actor and Best Film, I think, at the Birmingham Film Festival. And I love Birmingham. I love
you didn't say that because it's my hometown.
Oh, I didn't know that was your hometown. No, I love Birmingham.
Just throw that in there.
Honestly, I love Birmingham. And the people there are just so warm.
Yes.
Just such lovely people in Birmingham. So yeah, they were so welcoming last year, and you know, I've got good friends from there, and it's just a great city.
It is. It really
and down to earth, you know. It's just, I love it. The first thing they said, one of the guys,
you're right.
Yeah, keep it brum. Keep it brum. In the worst Birmingham accent ever. Keep it brum. I loved it.
Well, we've talked a bit, you know, about the kind of acting side of it. How do you actually balance your life? Because it sounds quite busy and full. And obviously being the owner of Crown Pavillions as well, you've got a team, but how do you kind of structure your day and balance it out to make sure you're kind of in every place that you need to be?
Well, being hyper helps. Never stopping helps. But yeah, no, it is busy. Good question. I think it's just about, you know, managing your time, and you know, this is all I do really. I don't have much of a social life and go out partying and stuff. Those days are long gone.
Yeah.
And I realise from my partying days that takes up a lot of time and effort. So not doing any of that allows me to focus on these things that I get just as much fun out of, and you know, I think, you know, the most important thing is just enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you enjoy what you're doing, as you wonderful ladies and you know, and you enjoy what you're doing, time flies, and it's you know, you manage to get it all in, and you know, you get up a bit earlier and you go to bed a little bit later, but you're passionate about what you do and you're enjoying it, so it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't feel like work, you know.
And how has this year been for you? Because obviously with the writers' strikes and there's quite a lot going on, especially within the acting and that end of the industry. How's that affected your ability to produce and do the work that you want to do creatively?
Well, it's a tough time. It's an awful time for the industry, and you know, this is people's livelihoods, you know, and you know, all the creatives are asking for is a fair deal, you know.
Yeah.
And 100%, you know, it's about getting a fair deal. It's about doing what's right. So it's been difficult for everybody. So what I've tried to do is to be busy. You know, fatherhood came out of, I was doing an Apple TV show, and the strikes just kicked in, so everything shut down, and I think we just at the tail end of finishing, so we were really lucky, and then everything kicked off, and it's been really tough for anyone in the creative industry. So what I did is I thought, you know, what am I going to do? You know, so I started writing fatherhood, and I just kept myself busy with that. And you know, it's, you know, I'm a big fan of British independent cinema, and I'm a big fan of all films of all genres all over the world. But naturally, I'm a fan of British, being a Brit. I love British independent cinema, and I think we do it really well. And I think we've got great stories to tell. I think you know, from the wonderful, you know, the Shane Meadows and the Ken Loaches, and we've got Mike Lee. We've got some incredible talent in this country, and it's so for me, I just want to be a part of that conversation and add something in my own little small way. And writing this film Fatherhood is giving people a bit of an insight into a world that they might not be so familiar with, you know. And it's my upbringing. It's the world that, you know, that I want to share with people, but it's not glamorizing any of the this. No, it's not about toxic masculinity and tough guyness. That's a nonsense. It's about showing people that, you know, this world exists, but we want to show hope. We want to show redemption. We want to show love, and we want to leave a good message at the end of it. So that's my intention with that.
Yeah.
Was that the question? I've gone off. I've flown off. I've gone off somewhere, haven't I? I don't know where I am. Connor, where am I? Bring me back.
Not at all. But
Where
I
am I?
think, you know, as you're talking about fatherhood as well, and in that you there's that element of mentorship, isn't there? Like,
Sure.
you
Massively.
know, how do you find as well? Like, it's important, isn't it, in life to either be a mentor and a mentee. So, like, who for you has been your role models and your, like, you know, people that have made, you know, to where you are today, and how do you also then want to pass that on as well, like in the way that you're setting up your independent production company and stuff?
That's a great question. I have thought about, as you know, from being in my teen years growing up, who is it that really I see as a real mentor. And if I'm completely honest, I take my inspiration from when I meet people on a day-to-day basis. If I see somebody who's just showing an act of kindness, or they're showing some empathy, or if they're showing the ability to be non-judgmental, and somebody that's giving people a chance, it's like even speaking to the guys at the Rio Ferdinand Foundation, or anyone who's doing any good work, charitable works. There's another wonderful guy that he runs a charity called Under One Sky, I believe it is, and it's for homeless people. And those are the people that really I take inspiration from, as opposed to, some figure that I'm never going to meet. I think mentors and people out there on a day-to-day basis, working in the NHS. My mum working as a nurse for 30 years in the NHS. That inspires me.
Love that.
Yeah.
That inspires me.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you have it.
What a great answer.
I know, I love that.
Finding inspiration from people in all walks of life.
Yeah.
And, I think it's so important as well from a giving back point of view. And you're saying, making sure that you're making these opportunities available for others. Like, is it something that you have ever considered sort of passing down sort of through, like with your kids and stuff, passing through and creating something that lasts, like as a legacy brand?
Yeah. So, I mean, with my kids, look, I make mistakes. I'm full of flaws. So
You're human.
I'm never going to sit here and take moral high ground or preach to anyone, because I'm full of flaws. But I do try, and that's all I can do. When it comes to, so I try to be the best I can for the kids where I can, and for I'm set this company up as well alongside Crown Pavillions called Rockwood Studios, and the whole idea behind that is to give something back. So in answer to your question, that will be a media platform responsible for creating content, be it film, be it digital, whatever the case may be. And that will be a platform to bring in some of the kids from the areas that I grew up in, to allow them to be behind and in front of the camera, and to encourage that creativity. So by doing that, they're never going to feel like somebody's just giving them a handout. They don't want a handout. They want opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Teach them how to fish.
Exactly. They want to, we want to be able to create an opportunity for them, and then empower them to go on. That's the future generation. I'm sounding old. I'm not that.
I think it's great to be thinking about these things, even like sort of at early stages. Like for anyone who's listening who maybe is at the very beginning of a career, like it's so important to put yourself out there and create, make sure you're creating opportunities. And like one of the things that we talk about quite often is don't pay it back, pay it forward.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a big thing actually that we always do, is like kind of offering our skill sets, so that I was lucky enough to learn a hell of a lot within the media that not necessarily every PR gets the opportunity to do. So I'm always like, no, I'll give you all my insight, have it. Like, let's just pass that on. Like,
Absolutely.
so that young people coming out of university who honestly at the moment feel like, I'm not going to get my foot in the door of what I want to do. I've got to, do something else.
I love that.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, no, for me, I definitely feel like it's so important to be able to pass it on and give them that leg up. And you do the same, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, when I graduated from uni, I think I was very much sold the story of, you're going to come out, you're going to go to your degree show, someone's going to pick you up, you're going to get an agent from that degree show, everything's going to be set for you. And actually what I found going into the creative industries, and obviously arts as well, performing arts is very much the same, you have to start from the ground up often. And even just getting your foot in the door as someone who might do the tea and coffee runs is hard enough. So to have other people like yourself creating these opportunities where
amazing.
You can actually develop some skill as a camera person, as a set, like helping with producing, shooting film stills, like to me that's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's that side, and it's also for instance, my he's become a friend. He was my bank manager, he left the bank, and then he's a financial advisor, and he's a good friend now, and he's working on this initiative with me. And he grew up in Stockwell, and he said growing up in Stockwell, his dad drives a taxi. He said, growing up in Stockwell, when I said to my family I want to go into the banking world and become a banker, they said, what? Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself. The bank. Don't get ahead of yourself. Well, he became a bank manager. He became my bank manager, and he's doing very well. So he wants to come back as well, and again, help some of those kids that are probably hearing exactly the same thing. You want to do what? You want to be an artist. You want to be an actor. You want to be a bank manager. You want to be an astronaut. You can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the naysayers.
Yeah.
And what was it like setting up a foundation? I mean, how is that process? What sort of challenges did you face sort of building this?
I haven't set up the foundation yet. So Rockwood Studios is a film production company and a media company, not just film production. It's a media company that will have film, it will have digital media, it will have print. So it's the whole spectrum of media. But within that, there's a social impact element that we want to build and grow. So it's still at the early stages, but that will be the platform that will work alongside, for instance, the Rio Ferdinand Foundation or any other foundation whereby we're working with them to give opportunities. So it's still at the early stages, but I've got big plans for it. Amazing. But it all starts with that first step.
It does, yeah. It starts with the idea.
Like any business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what I love about what you've done with Crown Pavillions. Well, no, just because I like how hands-on you are, and like literally the fact that you are a designer, you went and learned that skill. Like, I think that's amazing and applaudable for anybody, because I feel like, some people could just sit at the top and let everyone else do the legwork and the grunt work, and so to speak, but you actually are very hands-on, aren't you, within that business? So
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, very hands-on, and you have to be. I think you have to be involved. You have to be involved with your team.
Obviously, for your team, is amazing for them because they get to see somebody. It's your business, but you are absolutely in it, in the thick of it. Type thing.
Yeah, that's where we are. Yeah, so absolutely, hands-on I think is very important, and also showing your team that you care, that you're there with them. That's really, really important in any business, whether it's making wooden outdoor garden buildings or whether you're on a film set. Your team and the people that you're working with, you're one group and you're working together for the benefit of all. And if you work in that way, you're going to achieve so much more. Yeah, you really. And I'm. I've got that T-shirt because I've seen it both ways, where you are sort of a little bit more, doing your own thing, and that doesn't work. So, you learn as you get older as well. Yeah.
And what's potentially the best piece of business advice you've ever been given?
The best business advice I've ever been given... Work hard, don't quit.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
I'm loving the strength of
I
this.
know, yeah.
With it.
I don't know why I did that. Work hard, don't quit.
holding the pose.
It's just been drilled into my soul. Like, I'm just never going to forget that now.
You've got 26 minutes. I'm going, everyone. You want to okay? Otherwise, I'm going to get really silly.
He's going to lift the shoe of silence any minute. Like, he's wanted to pick up this shoe. I know you have, Luke. I know. Ever since you walked through the door, he's desperate. He's desperate to pick up the shoe.
Question, then.
What is one thing that the internet doesn't know about you yet? The shoe has finally been picked up. It's taken us 2 seasons. The shoe is
up. Been picked up finally. I actually think he wants to wear them, if I'm honest.
What size is it?
If they go missing, I know who I'm coming to get them from.
Who's stolen your shoes?
Well, we actually have to move on from that question. So let's go into the quickfire round, shall we?
Yes, go for it.
So, what is your best business accomplishment?
Sticking with the business for this long and not giving up.
Don't quit. Don't.
And I felt like it many a time.
What is your favourite productivity hack?
Productivity hack? I actually get very active late at night and find what works for you. Find what works for you. So there's no productivity hack in terms of there's no one rule, one shoe fits all. Sorry, it's about what works for you.
Yeah.
Do what works for you. That's what's most productive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we always like to dig around into your social media. We do a bit of an internet search. And I have to say I'm disappointed because all of your social platforms are pretty new. So literally to try and dig anything out on you, I mean, I could have gone really deep and gone back to London's Burning because I did used to watch it, as I say. I was a big fan.
There is a reason for that, Penny.
Oh, go on then. Go for it.
There is a reason for that. I won't pick that up just yet, but there is a reason for that. I didn't know how to get onto it until about 3 or 4 months ago. I've never been on social media my entire life. So for me, it's all new.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it literally everything. It was this year. Every channel was set up. Yeah, was set up this year.
I think I set it up maybe 15 years ago. And then it's sort of, I got pictures of like 15, 20 years ago. And then it's been like, and then I was like, wow, I've had that many people must think I'm really rude. Friend request. 19, whatever it was.
Well, I did find something. I went all the way back to April. That's how far back I had to go. All the way back to April. On the 2nd, you were actually interviewed for an article about the 5 things you need to shine in the entertainment industry. And I was wondering, what are the 5 things you need to shine in the business industry?
Okay, great question. I would say 1, I would say tenacity. I would say 2, self-belief. I would say 3, I'm probably going to repeat myself on that. Don't quit. Work hard. Oh, I got to number 5. That was lucky, wasn't it? I'm going to get stuck on 2 in a minute.
No, I like those. They're great.
Enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Enjoy what you're doing. Be happy.
Nice. Love that.
And before we wrap things up, is there any last piece of advice or wisdom you'd love to share with our listeners?
I'd just like to say thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it. It's been good fun, actually. Really good fun. It's been good fun, Connor. It's been really lovely. It's been a lovely interview. Thank you. And continue the great work. Did you ask me if I want to impart anything?
Yes, to our lovely listeners.
Impart anything. Enjoy your life and be happy. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
The more that I'm in business, the more I'm realizing if you enjoy what you're doing, if you just enjoy what you're doing or try it, you're going to have days where you hate what you're doing because we're human beings. You're going to have days where everything just sucks. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. You might have to edit that bit. But there's times where you just get up and you go, oh, God, I can't do this. But, you get through it. And, if you can have more happy days, enjoyable days, that's all you can do. Try to find that joy in what you're doing, whatever it is. So I try to keep it simple.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think it's important. Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes actually the obvious, it's what you don't think about. And it's good for us all to sit back and think about that and actually make ourselves happy and remember what we're doing every day. It's important. So yeah, I think it's great advice. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. Honestly, it has been amazing. I really enjoyed our interview, and we'll definitely have to get you back so that you can give us an update on how all the films go.
How Fatherhood's going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and also when the media company gets set up and that we can go through everything. But yeah, I mean, obviously what we'll do is put all of the notes from today's session as well in our comments on all the platforms that we are available on, so that you can find out a little bit more about how to get hold of Luke and what he's up to. But yeah, that's it for another week of Diaries of Badass Bosses. We have another amazing guest next week, next Wednesday, so tune in.
It's such a good season. Every single one of these, I'm getting so much out of them. My badass boss energy level is like going like this.
My cup is full. Trust me, my cup is very full. I'm excited.
You're gonna have to find some room for next week. You're gonna have to. Otherwise,
I'll drink some.
Her cup will be overflowing.
Okay.
We will be back next Wednesday with another dose of badass boss energy. And until then, have a great time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, do all those things that we love you for. And we will see you very soon.
See you soon.